Hey man, hey Burning Bright, how are you doing? Glad to see you. How's everything? Yeah, so today we're going to be doing some environments and see how that goes. If you go to the Discord server, hello Rashid Khan, how are you doing? How are you doing? So yeah, if you go to the Discord server, just make sure that is it taking long to load? Yeah, if you go to the live stream renders, you will see some of the posts, some of the renders. I'm not sure why is this super slow. Yeah, anyway, so if you go to the Discord server and live stream renders, you'll see some of the renders we have done. Not sure why it's too slow, but today we're going to be doing some environments, and I've already picked up a few reference images from ArtStation that we are going to try and create. Yeah, so why is this too slow? Okay, so if you go to live stream renders, you'll see some of the render images from previous live streams. Again, if you want to become a Discord member, just use !Discord. Yeah, you can see some of the renders. These are the few renders. These are the renders we made from, I think, yesterday. I don't know. Was it yesterday? No. Yesterday I didn't stream, but yeah, some of the renders we managed to make. So today we are going to be making some. I'm gonna reduce the sound here. Some pieces. You know what? I think I like this piece. Maybe we can start with this. I've rarely made anything with snow, so let's try this here. Let's start with this and see how we can get it. So this is by Sathis Kumar. I think, what software did he use? He used Photoshop. So this was like a paint, a digital paint. Yeah, let's try and do something like this and see. Just going to use this as inspiration. Drop that in. Okay, so let's see. Let's figure this out. So we have a lot of blocks, and he's using a lot of the environment for fog volumetrics to emphasize the scale of the scene. Have a few pieces here and there. So let's see. Just going to start with. Let's start with these steps. Steps can be a bit tricky to make. You'd expect them to be that easy, very easy, but they can be a bit. Let's go to shortcuts, turn those on. I'll just grab. So this is a quick way to make steps. You just add a few subdivisions and just extrude, deselect, extrude, deselect, extrude, extrude, deselect. You just deselect and then extrude. Something like that. Yeah, we don't need a lot of steps, so we can just have that many. Now they're going to be like that. And I'm going to use, let me subdivide this a few times. I'm going to use some sculpting tools. Also turn on Dino Topo here, just to make this a bit more detailed. So you can come in and just chip away some bits here. We can use the clay tool here, just to chip away, to add damage to the steps. Can even use more details by reducing the detail size. Why are you not making online course? I do have an online course. You can use Discord. I can use course, the course command. Is it courses or course one? I'm not sure, but yeah, I have a course on Udemy, and I'll be making a few more. I just haven't gotten the time to do it, but yeah. So we want to add some damage to this, so just random damage like that. And you can be as detailed as you want. See, like that. And let's see. Yeah, we have our steps nice and damaged. Let me first go back here, just make sure that my music is playing the right playlist. Okay, yeah, so here we have this, and now we can start working on the materials. I'm just going to use my quick functions add-on, which was previously named the asset library. So let me navigate to that. Yeah, so I'll go to my library here, materials. Let me look for concrete. I think I can use this for the concrete. I don't know, let's try this. Yeah, I think this is better. Shade smooth, auto smooth. Yeah, maybe just smooth looks much better. Let's use auto smooth. And we are going to, I want some of these pieces to have a different material, because right now you can't see the damage clearly. If I stand on ambient occlusion, some screen space reflections, you can't really see the damage easily. So what I'm going to do is just go in here and select the damaged parts, just like that. Everywhere we added damage, I wish there was an easier way to select this. It doesn't seem to be the case. So every piece that is damaged like that. Let's see. Yes, some pieces here, some pieces here. Yeah. Then grab new material or material slot, and I'm just going to. This is concrete 6. If I save this, call this castle. I can assign this this material or concrete 6 like that. I want this to be a bit different, so I'm going to make it a bit darker like that, and you can already see the difference there. Yeah, we are getting some damage. I like that. Then painting mask would be easier and more efficient and more effective. Yeah, that's true. Let me see if I get rid. Yeah, so what you're saying is if I use a vertex paint, so texture paint, actually should be vertex paint. Let me first go to this. Yeah, so just painting the damage directly like that is what you're saying. Yeah, this is, I think, much easier and much effective. Yeah, you're right. doing it this way would be much more effective. And now all you have to do is just use an input vertex color, select the vertex color, and we can either use a mix node here, color mix RGB. So the asset library, the quick functions add-on also has a panel in the shaders panel. So, and this also comes with a few functionalities. So if you have two nodes, you can blend them together. I guess the vertex color input is not really supported here, but you can easily blend them together. There is some functionalities here that you can use when you're creating shaders. I'm going to add a color mix RGB here. Just connect this to the base color. Like that. And this is going to be the mask. Just going to make this. We can use color overlay. And let's just use multiply. Just switch around the colors to get the right shade. I just use mix. But we still want some of that detail, the concrete detail, to come through. So I can add a color convert math node here. Just so I can control how much that is. And let's go back to the reference image here. Yeah, so this is the reference image. Yeah. Going to duplicate this. And go to my quick functions and just show camera functions. Align this camera here. Maybe also just use a 25 millimeter camera. Yes. Like that. Grab this, mirror this on the X. Let's see. Just move the camera. Hey, you, Lucas Coleman, how are you doing? Glad to see you. Looks cool. Thank you. And for this, I can just grab this step, Shift D. Actually, let me just grab this and maybe rotate it on the X. Just want this top part, but I think in the library I have a wall object that I can use. Or let's just create a plane or a cube like this, because we need a surface here. Just give it the same concrete material, Control L. Let's get the concrete material. Let's search for concrete. This one shouldn't have that. I'm doing great, Lucas. I have used Blender for a while now, but I'm working on nodes. Nice. So what kind of nodes? Are you working on geometry nodes, or what type of nodes are you working with? So we have something like this. Then what else do we need? We can make this structure look really large, massive. I can just have this duplicated again, just like that. Maybe not necessary. So with this, let's start adding some structures in the back. Can add, first grab this plane. Let it be a surface like this. Now let's create a big wall here. It's a cube. Link materials. And with this, we can just use the sculpt tool to add detail. So I'm just going to go to sculpt mode. Make sure that I have Dino Topo turned on. Like this, and just start adding in detail. Hey Beaver, everything is good? Everything is good. You can start adding in some detail like that. Yo, thank you for subscribing. That is, sorry, I can't pronounce the name, but thank you. We want to add in detail. Just going to use a clay brush like this. Just random detail, random brush strokes. And we want to have some kind of pattern in these. Now close it in. Can just draw some random patterns. And if you go down to the brush settings, what are we learning today? We're trying to make something like this, just using this as inspiration. We can try using a different stroke method. We can draw lines like that. Basically just create a pattern. It's going to go in, increase the strength quite a bit, and maybe in the Dino Topo just change the detail to 3. This is going to give us a much more dense. Basically it's an easy way to get some nice details like that. And you can also go to your texture, brand new texture, and just load in an image. I have some height maps that I know could work very well here. So, hey Abu, who just started work in Blender? You're asking the chat? Yeah, who has just started using Blender? Who else has just started using Blender? I want to look at my resources and height maps. Let's see height maps. Let's get a pattern. Like, let's try this. Now that we have In the brush settings, we have line turned on, and we have a brush. I can draw some patterns. Where are we getting this? Okay, let's see. Let's go back to sculpt mode. Seem to be having some kind of error. Let's see. Let me try up here. I need to make sure that I have Dino Topo turned on. I want to draw this pattern, and let me just make sure, double check my settings here. We have lined. You can see the pattern is there. If I draw it like that, it's there, but it's just that the resolution we have doesn't seem to be enough. We can first increase the spacing a bit. And maybe increase the brush size just a bit. Yeah, you can see the detail is coming through, but it's not enough. Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing the pattern. Want to draw it. Seems to be randomized every time for some reason. Now let's reduce the spacing again. Maybe let me choose a different texture that is much easier to preview. Sculpting is something I could never get into, especially organic sculpting. It can be tricky. Yeah, you see the patterns. There's also this bug that kind of shades the texture blue for some reason. I don't think that should be a thing, but kind of does. Let me make sure that Dino Topo is still on. It's been removed. Okay, you can see the details. I think we need to reduce on the spacing just a bit. Okay, that's too deep. And let's go back to the texture, and also let me reduce the detail size to 6. It's starting to look good. Yeah, you see, without even adding too much, doing too much work, we can get some good detail here. Let's go back here. Look for another type of texture, maybe something like this. This bug seems to happen when you undo. What it does, it also disables the Dino Topo, so you might have to check it again. Let me go back to detail of 3. Hey, thank you, Mustafa, Mad Boy, and Bolly. Thank you. Let's go back to this, and I'm going to switch from stroke to dots, so that I can just simply draw the detail in, and you can see how that is working. Yeah, just drawing in some of that detail. So if you look for some height maps, you can end up with a nice detailed thing. Let's get this ego. We increase the strength. Okay, I think this looks detailed enough. We can shade smooth, and we have a block like that. We can reuse this over and over. Hey sir, are you going to add snow in the environment part? Yeah, I'll try to do that and see. Have you ever made your own games or environment in Unity or Unreal Engine from the scenes you make? No, not really. Because you need to have assets to. It's quite a lengthy process to do this in Unreal Engine. You need to have the assets already made, and since Unreal Engine or Unity is not like a 3D program where you can make your own assets, it becomes a bit tricky if you don't have the assets. Let's continue adding in these details. See, you know that. No, I'm not very fond of this this block. So let's recreate one where we are putting more emphasis on the shapes, on the structure and purpose of the building, because right now the other one we're just kind of like experimenting. Hello Screen Nada, how are you doing? Yeah, that's true, but you can export them from Blender, right? Yeah, you can export them from Blender, but that's also a lengthy process. You don't just export, you also have to bake the textures if you want the materials to go as well. Yeah, so let's sculpt this more in a more kind of useful way. So let's go back to here. I remove the texture for now, and I just make sure we have Dino Topo on. And yeah, let's use a clay brush. Go to front view here for a second, and just start adding in some detail. Make it seem purposeful. Because if you just sculpt in detail and yeah, they don't see. I want to make this look like a cave, maybe a passage inside there. So let's just increase. Can I double the size here? Yeah, I can double the brush. And you can see I can easily. Okay, maybe not that much. Let's just use a strength of 1. Yeah, we want these to be purposeful. Maybe these are like watch towers. That were purposely. This maybe was a kind of a rock surface that people chipped in, quarried through to make a watchtower. Give it the same material. I see already with just a few brushes, I can see we are getting something interesting. Let's do that again on this side. Make sure we have Dino Topo turned on. Just add more detail. Like that. Let me change the brush again to something like 2. Now, if you use a lot of strength for your brush, you have to be a bit careful because you're going to run into artifacts. So I'm going to just use this 1.5. So that our structures look purposeful. So can add in some extrusions like that. Just push in extra detail in. Yeah, thanks for the subscription, Jake Hicks. Thank you. Am I the only one getting low resolution on these lives? What resolution are you getting? Because I'm streaming in 720. Can just add in detail. Let me just put this back to 1. Of course, you can spend more time doing this, but for this, yeah, that's going to be our block. Now we can duplicate this on the X. Going to grab the camera and just I think if I duplicate this, I can also let me just leave it like that. Just going to grab the vertices. And first make sure this is a single object. So relationships, make single user, object data. Just add an interest here. Let me see. Let's change the camera to be somewhere here. We're going to use cycles again for this, so let's switch to that and start adding some lighting. So first use a sky texture here. Turn on viewport denoising. 144p. No, there should be a 720 option for you. There should be a 720. We want to make this seem like a very large structure. Let's change the camera angle. Stairs need some help. Yeah, they need a little bit more detailing. But it could also be just the render resolution. You can't really see that much detail with the preview. Let's go back here, change the elevation to maybe 45, 25, 20. Yeah, something like that. And we need an environment map. We need a character here, so let me go to my library and search for a man here. Grab let's grab this guy here. I'll just pause for a second here. Maybe not that guy. Let's grab him. Your PC is dying, change your GPU. Or you mean it froze? This is not that heavy for my PC. Maybe it was my internet. Could be my internet, but let me see. Everything looks to be fine. If we unpause this, now let's work on this Nancy. Some huge pillars or statue. Let me see, pillar. Because I've used this model a lot, I don't want to reuse her again. Let me see. Do I have some column? You have these here. Now maybe another thing we could do is just add kind of a structure here. So we could use an array for this. And just add a building, a structure here. Just grab this edge, let's insert this. And just use the same material. Get some towers like that. Just finding ways to emphasize detail like that could help. Let me grab a brick material that I have. Maybe something like this could work. I try geometry nodes sometimes. Yeah, I haven't really gotten into geometry nodes yet. Maybe let's try making this a bit shorter and also just add another block like this, just so the structure has some purpose instead of seeming like now. Let's work out a shader that might give us some snow here. So let me grab this piece here. Let me pause for a second, isolate this, go to EV for a second here. And we can start by separating. Let's grab an object like an empty texture noise texture. Is it noise? No, it should be input geometry. No, input object info. Because we want the texture coordinates. Actually, it's supposed to be texture coordinates. And just select this object. And we need to separate, separate XY. I need to get the object. So you can see when I rotate this, I get that angle. So I don't know, let me see. We want snow, so I want to create a mask for the snow. So maybe if we rotated this, something like that, I think that would be good for snow. Something like that. So now we just need a snow shader. So a snow shader, we could just use a principal shader, principal shader, and we'll just also bring in a noise texture, and I can just connect this to the base color like that. And if we preview this, there shouldn't be that much going on, but we're going to use this as the now the quick functions add-on, which is again the asset library, previously called the asset library. I've added a few functions in the shader editor, so now you can easily select a texture node and a principal shader and connect them. If I wanted to connect this to the roughness, I can just simply do that, and the add-on will do that for me. If I want to connect this to the normal map as a bump, I can just do that, and you can see it has connected the bump for me like that. And dirty vertex colors. You're saying to use dirty vertex colors to do what exactly? I'm not sure how they would help here. Do you think we could use them for snow? Because I'm not very sure. Something like this. And I can add a color mix node here. Just if I wanted to make this more reflective, this no more reflective, and this shouldn't be in the base color. Yeah, now it looks a bit more like snow, so I just have to make it a bit more reflective, and just mix these two nodes again. Like this. And I use our factor, our mask. I think it was the X value as our mask. Yes. Like that. Now, one thing you will notice is that the colors are not clipping very well. So what we can do is first add a clamp here. That vertex colors could work for snow, or ambient shadow or normal direction in geometry node input, but it's working fine. Yeah. So the reason why I'm not using ambient occlusion or that, because ambient occlusion usually doesn't happen doesn't go where snow goes. So that's going to be like our snow. Now we can also make this a bit darker. So add a color mix RGB. Or should we go with a curve? This looks like work of a displacement node without using any displacement node. Yeah, it's the displacement node. You'd have to have a lot of subdivisions on the surface. Let me see if I remove some of the red just to make it a bit dark. And less reflective. The surface, I want it to be less reflective. So maybe something like that. And again, I want it to be a bit darker to emphasize on the snow. So yeah, but you can already see the problem we are running in is that we have, for some objects, we have snow going everywhere. It should be dependent on the rotation of the empty we just created, which should be this. So the snow itself should be based on the rotation of this, but because each object has a different rotation, that's why you see we are running into this issue. So one thing we could do is apply the rotation of each object, or give each object its own material, or just let's try using the object rotation itself instead of let's use, actually I think we just need to change the rotation to match what we want. We get the empty, and we have this empty here. This is what is controlling the snow for this piece. Let's see. And we also need it to be controlled. So for this, I might have to create a different empty to control the rotation of this. So just going to grab this empty here, have this use that empty. So now we just have to figure out the right rotation for the snow. something like that. Same for this here. Could use a different material with a different empty to control the snow. Have you tried camera angle for the coordinates of the snow? Camera angle for the coordinates of the snow? I don't think that would work very well because, yeah, I don't see that's working. You could also use the normal direction. Let me see. Let me first isolate this for a second. Actually, I think the normal direction would be a better option than using the object. So if I separate, can you give a tutorial for 3D character model? I don't really do characters. So separate XY. Yeah, I think this is a much better mask. So let's use that instead. So I just use this as the factor. By the way, your texture folder add-on is fire. I use it daily in my workflow. Thank you, Red Dot. Yeah, and I've made a few updates to actually. The texture folder add-on has been merged with the asset library. So if you have the asset library now, it comes with the texture folder, and as you can see, as here. So all the functionality is going to be, so instead of having two add-ons, it's going to be a single add-on for everything. Because I think it's more efficient that way. Yeah, I think, you know what, actually this is far better. So yeah, this provides better snow than this. Control L. Yep, this is much better. Just instead of using object, using the normal direction gives you better results, and it also means that you don't have to create a different shader for all the materials. So sorry, for all the other objects. Your tools save me a lot of time. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I think also if I wasn't using them, I wouldn't be able to do this live stream because yeah, I have a time limit of 2 hours, and without the tools I'm using now, it would be quite difficult. Think we have snow. Let's preview this. Yeah, so that's how it would look. Now we just need an environment texture. Looking good. Thank you. You just need an environment texture with principal volume. Principal volume, volume. Shader, principal volume. Like this, we don't need density, we just need emission strength. I think I can pull back the camera just a bit. Now we can add more blocks. Input geometry, no more separate blue channel in the methods. Now we'll build up on top of top areas. Okay. We just need now to, let me see. Grab some of these blocks, put them in the back to have some extra details in the back. What's up, brother? Awesome art as well, as always. I think it's gonna be one of my favorites, man. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. This shouldn't be there. I think I'm going to grab these, just make them really tall towers. Yo, Dom Wilson, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Again, we can pull the camera a bit back. Just to emphasize on scale, I'm also going to grab these steps, widen them even further. Let's change the lighting a bit. Just move. Just trying to get a better view. Let me first push this. Maybe just bring this character because we want to emphasize scale, and I think the best way to do that is just have a person, and I want to have this guy somewhere closer to the camera. And we can also give him a red crown like that. Just do a quick cloth simulation here. Just add those to a vertex group. New vertex group or new cloth. Add this, and I think this can also be a collision object. Now we can also make him a collision object. You see what we're getting. Not very detailed. So we can add a multi-resolution modifier somewhere. Just subdivide this. Simulate again. And, actually, we can first make this a bit smaller. Just make sure it's not intersecting. Now to have more wrinkles, all we have to do is just go to the shape, increase the shrink factor And I think if we give this a slight rotation, just to make this look more epic, I'm going to turn on proportional editing, rotate these vertices just a bit, so that the cloth simulation starts off a bit like that, and we end up with a much more interesting cloth simulation. It's somewhere like that. I think it's much better. And I would just have to apply everything. I'm going to go to my library or my add-on, quick functions, textures, and just search for fabric, and just so I can look for some materials. What is this? It seems I have a bug in my add-on, but fix that later. Fabric. Yeah, can grab something like this, use that as a new material. Let's see. But I want this to be RGB. Mix RGB. I want this to be red, so I'll just use this. Now, the pillars are lacking in detail, so what I can do is just let me look for brick material here. I think I have a brick material somewhere here, so let's use that instead of we have this brick material. Just make sure that I'm using cube projection for this. So we have this brick material. The only thing it's lacking is the snow texture. Let me bring that. Blender needs to compile shaders, I think. Yeah, this here. Just need to grab this shader node here, this snow. I'll just copy that, paste it in here. Yes, and that should be enough. Yeah, we have now snow. And we can emphasize the snow by just adding in some extra details or extra edge loops in these. And if you have, so this is our mask here. If we add a texture, actually convert, is it called texture coordinates? It should be under vector mapping, yeah. We can scale this along the z-axis. We can scale the snow along the z-axis a bit. Just a bit. I think it's okay. Another thing I could do, the snow looks too sharp. It cuts off too abruptly. So this is our mask. So instead of cutting it off that abruptly, I want it to transition, to create a simple transition using a noise map. So I'll grab a noise map like this. I should use object mapping. Just add a convert color ramp. Just want to break up the snow a bit, and I can blend the two nodes here. Just with a mix node, just use color burn. And now you can see how the snow is being cut off just a bit. So it's not an abrupt cut off like we had before. So the snow is more now, is a bit more detailed now. Yeah, so something like that. Something like that. Now we can use that for this. Use it for this as well. Let me search for medieval assets here, see if I have any. Let me go to my medieval library and see what I have in there, if could be used here. Oh, there's a giant hole here. Just push this. We have some structures that we could use from a previous live stream, so we can reuse them here. No biggie, no problem. So I think now I can grab these, make them less at all. Just make a few changes to this. Let's see. Can we go into our Blender world with green screen? Yeah, we can definitely do that. We definitely can. Except I don't have a green screen here. Also going to bring in the volumetrics a bit closer. Let me grab this material and make it less. Let me use color here. Now we can also add more structures. Let me first make sure that this is not getting in the way. Let me use my vibrant colors just to play with some colors and see. Just play with the colors a bit. Reset. I think I'm going to change the back here. Just add some tall structures. We can continue adding more detail, saying this building is now floating in the air. So I'm just going to add this on the side here. Thank you, lazy reviewer, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. I've been watching your previous Blender streams and I'm learning a lot through them. Thanks for the wonderful tutorials. Thank you too. So yeah, let's put out some. Let me see. What should we do here? Okay, let's go back to ArtStation and look for something else, because I think this one here, this piece here, is done. I'm calling that done. Let's look for another piece. We still have about 30 minutes for the stream, because I usually stream for 2 hours. There is this. I was thinking of creating some kind of a garden. Look at this. This is a lot of detail. Or is this? This is not that. It's not too difficult, but it does require a lot of time to work on. Just tuning in the buildings assets, or did you make them? We just made them here. Yeah, I wanted to make a garden like this. Maybe let's try something like that. In the remaining few minutes, let's try something like that. Oh, by the way, if you are in market if you're looking for an add-on that for vegetation, there is this amazing add-on, and I'm an affiliate for this add-on. So it's called Nisaga add-on, and they have a lot of assets, trees, bushes. They're all editable. So if you're looking for something that could help you with creating vegetation for your environments, this would be an amazing add-on. Let me leave a link in the chat. So I'm an affiliate, so if you buy the add-on, you're supporting the channel. I get a commission off of that. You can see it's very great at creating things like this. You can see you can block out a path, and scatter assets. Quite a lot of assets you have. 800 assets. A lot of different variations. So if you are in a market for an add-on that should be good for you, the Nisaga add-on would be great. Okay, let's try and make a garden like this. I have an idea of what I want, so I'm just going to first start by subdividing the ground. Let me set up my camera maybe around here. Just want one large garden. I've always wanted to create large scenes, but I've never really gotten around to do it. So let's try it here. I'll get a displacement modifier, new modifier. We need a noise, a cloud texture. Yeah, something like that. Then we can add, something like that. Now, what we can do now is apply everything, because I want a row of plants. Let me look at this here. So let's create a plant. Just going to get a plane like this. And I'll go to my asset library or my quick functions library in the library section, materials, textures. I'll link in my plants collection. So I have a few textures of plants that I want to use here. So this here, because I want to create a plant that we are going to, let's get this. I'll create a new material with this. Let me just make sure that's something like this. The material, everything is set up for me, the roughness. One thing that I need to do is connect the alpha map, and also I'll make sure that I have alpha blend on, and I can use clip for this and a clip for the shadow as well. Yeah, so this is going to be our plant. I think, let me see, can I do this? First subdivide this. Yes. So just make a copy of this. Shift D. I'm just trying to see if this would make a good plant. Yeah, I think this would be enough for the kind of plant I'm looking for. And I'm going to go to again to my library, quick functions, and search for ground PBR, or I think I need to link my PBR folder. Ground and rocks. Search again. Yeah, I want this. Okay. Now, I want to have a lot of lines. So let's add a particle system, new particle system, new hair system. To this, recalculate normals. I want to have, by the way, the reference image we are looking at is this. I want to have a garden of something like cabbages. So I'll grab this as the render object. But right now they look so random. I'll call this garden. Now we want them to be large enough. But their distribution right now is quite random. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to grab a few vertices or a few edge loops like this. Or better yet, instead of adding the particle system directly to this plane, I can just create a plane like this. Because we want rows of this, Then I can subdivide this a few times and use a shrink wrap modifier on this, like that. I just make sure that I'm using object projection, projection, like this, so that everything aligns correctly like that. And now this can be given a new particle system, the one with the veggies. Now, before I even use this, let me just have a look at how this looks, with just this being a bit dark like that. We don't want a lot of vertices or a lot of this. And now all I have to do is just make a few rows of this. Yeah, that is exactly what I was going for. Just make sure that in the instancing, this is not viewable. Yeah, just like that. Let's go in cycles. I think we need more. Let's go to cycles. I'll give this back its ground material. And let's use an environment texture. Sorry, let's use our sky texture. That maybe they need to be closer, much closer to each other. So turn on denoising. Let's use about 200 particles. I'm going to use the botanical add-on to spawn in a few trees in the back. And is an array modifier better to use? Yeah, it would be better, but if I wanted, you don't have the option to just move the lines, reposition them the way you want, and I want that to be possible for me. And in the asset library, I have, I think, so in my quick functions add-on, I think I have, my eyes are itchy, but I think I have some plants or grass that we could use here. This, especially this. Yeah, this here. Just go to here. I have some grass here. That if I add a shrink wrap modifier to this, again use projection. Need a few subdivisions. So this, yeah, just make sure that these particles are above. Just adding that grass. Yeah, simply like that. You can move it in the back there as well. And then maybe add more particles for this. And because I have this as a separate object, I can just move this bunch of grass where it's necessary, like here. It also helps conserve on the particles. Like that. Maybe let's reduce the particle count to about 500 here, so that our plants here can are much visible. So I'm also going to change this a bit, because if you look closely, our plants are a bit dark, and the reason for that is because we're using an alpha channel for the plant we are having here, which Cycles doesn't really like to do a lot, doesn't handle alpha transparency very well when it's multiplied a lot. So let me find a better leaf we could use. Oh, maybe let me just leave it like that. And I'm going to just duplicate the entire setup we have here. Hopefully that's not too much for my PC. Just grab all of it, just rotate it. Have it in the back there. And I'm going to select my camera, go to my quick functions, show camera functions, and just change the clipping angle at 200. Let's see. Let's see. Going to grab all of this. I want it to seem like this environment is just simply continues on. Let me grab my camera, just change this to a 25 millimeter, just so I can reposition this better. I'm going to make a copy of this. Because these are far away, we can get away by just using a few particles. Just move this tree around there. And just grab this kind of proportional editing, just let's grab these, align everything correctly. Let's see. This tree is floating. Just going to duplicate this bush. Maybe we can add, let me see, if I duplicate the entire setup, I'm not sure if my PC is going to handle this again, but if I duplicate this again, just move this here. Something like that. One thing we could do is make this surface a bit darker, so I'm going to add a color. Let me see, what do we have? Ground. Let me look for ground again. I want a darker surface. Maybe let's try this here. Actually, I think this makes more sense to have darker material like that. Now let's play with the sun direction. Yeah, I'm also going to grab a tree, another tree here, just so it can cast a shadow. Now, another thing we lack in the scene are some large shadows. So I'm just simply going to grab a plane. Let me first pause here. A large plane like this. Give it a new material. Shader. Sorry, texture, noise texture. I'll go to my quick functions add-on. I can connect these to, let's see, connect this to the alpha, factor to the alpha, then convert color ramp. Let me look at this. We want to cast some shadows. So just having an alpha mask like this would be great. So I can simply just add a transparency and simply use a transparency shader. I just, yeah, something like that. And this will cast some shadows onto the surface, hopefully. So let's go back to Eevee. So let's go back to cycles. We add the fuse, blend the two, use this as the factor. Maybe if we had a tractor or something, we could add it in there. Yes, I like how that light is casting there. Let's try. $180. Yo, thank you for subscribing. Engine T give. Let's try. Two spotlight in different settings. Two spotlights in different settings. I'm not sure what you mean, but I think if we add another area, a very large area light here. Let me see. Can I see this? Thank you for subscribing, Isaac Wilson. Really appreciate that. Yeah, if you can also get some likes, it would be amazing. 53 likes. That's great. Thank you. Let's add someone picking some cotton or whatever this is. So I'll go to my for a character here. Let's get this. Use two different spotlights and replace the sun to get similar lighting effects as reference image. Two spotlights. Yeah, you will need to amp up the energy of the spotlights to get the same effect. And I don't think, I think he also used a light. It's not just a spotlight. He used some kind of a sun to do this instead of a spotlight, to be a lot easier to use a sun. Thank you for subscribing, Kenya. Thank you, thank you. I take it you are from Kenya. How is that? How is Kenya? Look at I make him bend. Let's see. Maybe needs to be a bit taller. And then maybe these can also be a bit bigger. Maybe get a hat for him. I think you can just duplicate this guy. Have him different places. Let's see. And I think we can add some environment fog. Let's see. Again, we need to go to functions, just show camera, increase the clipping distance a bit. Okay. Let me see. Let's get our reference image back here, see what else we can do. I think I'm going to move this guy from close. He doesn't really look very good up close. Let me add maybe a tank. Grab a few of these. I think we need a few more of these close together, especially around here. Let's duplicate a few. Maybe make this ground surface also a bit darker. Let's see what else can we add in. Let me see if I bring this up about Yeah, I think I'm going to call that the end of this stream. I'll post this in the Discord server after doing a final render. You